Good morning, kids, and today we're checking out a brand new video from Goji-santa about how Muto Prime never existed, how it got killed again, sort of. If you don't know what Muto Prime is, it's kind of the monster that attacked Godzilla between, 2014 and King of the Monsters. It was a comic. Like, look, there was even a here explaining its life cycle. Well, I also did a video on that as well, about a year ago as well, so. But either way, I digress. Let's hop in.
Muto Prime, or sometimes referred to as Titanus Jinshin Mushi, never existed. Or at least we are very close to this reality, or this Titan becoming non-canonical. We'll explain why in this episode. There's a lot of lore here, so pay close attention and subscribe, or Godzilla will eat your car. One of the most recent MonsterVerse installments, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, has recently shed new light on some of the events that happened after Godzilla 2014. But one of, if not the most important thing to note here, is that we may be looking at two different conflicting timelines. It seems as if this show more or less ignores the events that happened in Godzilla Aftershock, which involves the Muto Prime, as well as a possible explanation as to why Godzilla's dorsal plates look a little different. Now, in this short episode, we'll have to keep tabs on two very important aspects. One being Godzilla's current form, which after 2014 is a leaner build with sharp, jagged dorsal plates. And two, the state of Monarch's intel on Godzilla himself, and the people who spearhead this organization. Monarch Legacy of Monsters follows two characters whose father worked for Monarch. This takes place in 2015, 1 year after G-Day, which is referred to as the day in which humanity realized Titans exist. From here on, we meet several characters which make mention of Godzilla and Muto emergence events, many who work for Monarch. Here, Barnes picked up radioactive spike readings in Alaska, which she claimed that we have not seen since the last emergence event, meaning G-Day. Here's where we have our problem. In this show, Monarch makes absolutely no mention of the events that happened in Godzilla Aftershock. This sequence of events occurred a few months after the Muto attack on San Francisco, before Monarch Legacy of Monsters. For quick recap, Godzilla Aftershock makes mention of Muto Prime sightings in Guam, Kyushu, Japan, the Barents Sea, Khaimalville, France, the Azores, and Beartooth Mountains in Montana. Yes, the re-emergence of Muto Prime was an extremely big deal, especially for Monarch. So for this reason, Barnes here should have made mention of radioactive spikes occurring as a result of Muto Prime emerging, but she didn't. Additionally, throughout the series, there is also no mention of Godzilla's activity between 2014 and 2015, as if these events were completely ignored, or worse, didn't even happen at all in this particular MonsterVerse installment. That's right, and let's face it, Monarch Legacy of Monsters basically implies that all of this didn't even happen. But some of you may be thinking, is there any way to fix this? Can the events of Godzilla Aftershock still be wedged in, per se, in the MonsterVerse timeline? The answer is a complicated yes, and here's how. Real quick, if you're enjoying this episode, please take a second to support the channel and check out our GXK-inspired merch line. If not, that's cool. You can at least subscribe.
Let's see.
Adding back the Muto Prime in this seemingly fragmented and now inconsistent MonsterVerse timeline will be no easy task. But first, we will probably have to assume that these characters, especially the ones working for Monarch such as Tim, Deputy Director Verdugo, and company, had absolutely no idea of the events occurring between G-Day and 2015. Or they just didn't decide to mention it at all for whatever reason. Ignoring this kaiju was a really bold move, given that this is potentially one of the most dangerous, heavy, and aggressive Titans we've ever seen in the MonsterVerse. Armored from head to toe, capable of burrowing better than anything we've ever seen, and capable of manipulating tectonic plate movements, it is going to be really hard pretending this animal never existed in the MonsterVerse timeline. We'll also have to assume that Barnes also wasn't aware of the Muto Prime emergence event either. Can this actually be a plausible claim? All of these Muto Prime sightings took place in rather secluded areas. The events here could have easily been classified, hidden, and blamed on a natural disaster. The Muto Prime emergence in France, though it was a populated spot, could have also been blamed on a tremor by the French government, similar to how Janjira's Muto event was.
True. I mean, it does have the ability to manipulate the tectonic plates, so they literally could say it was a fault line or some BS, and they would not be wrong. They would be, well, right.
Blamed on an earthquake by the Japanese. So for the Muto Prime to still exist in the official MonsterVerse lore, we must, number one, assume that this Muto Prime emergence was completely hidden from the public and possibly to some Monarch personnel, or they just for some weird reason did not acknowledge it in the show. Godzilla's design in Monarch Legacy of Monsters during the 2015 events showcases the G-Man with his newer evolved dorsal plates as well. First seen in 2015 in the Sahara Desert, after being awakened by Hiroshi's gamma simulation device, Godzilla rises from the ground, and one of the first things we see are his dorsal plates. Note that these dorsals are different from the dorsals in 2014, meaning that there had to have been some evolution between 2014 to 2015. And it just so happens that Aftershock takes place right in between. Otherwise, there would have been absolutely no explanation why his dorsals changed all of a sudden. Godzilla's dorsal plates evolve as he matures. In Aftershock, the G-Man lost these in his final confrontation with the Muto Prime to an ability known as a Sonic Blast, specifically tuned to shatter Gojira dorsal plates. After Godzilla killed Jinshin Mushi, he would have had enough time to regrow these quickly before he was spotted here in 2015. So, the second requirement on this list is that Godzilla would have had to regrow his dorsals quickly in the span of months before these events. Even though there isn't really an exact mention of Godzilla's confrontation with the Muto Prime, there is one small nod mentioned in the show that could work in favor of the Muto Prime's existence in this timeline. In episode 6, we hear Tim recap on what happened after G-Day. He specifically mentions where exactly Godzilla took off after San Francisco, west, which happens to be in the direction of where the Muto Prime emerged, and Godzilla. Our best guess is that the writers of this show did not really pay attention to the events mentioned in the graphic novels or novelizations, only treating Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla 2014, and GVK as canonical material. As these live-action MonsterVerse shows are released, there is a greater possibility of these not being mentioned either, or worse, turned into non-canonical material. Muto Prime is considered loose canon at the moment thanks to this show, not officially disproved to exist, but also not confirmed. It is an important kaiju to keep since it does a good job at explaining where these two Mutos came from, as well as showcasing the final Muto form after a female Muto turns into a queen Muto. Watch our episode explaining the complete Muto life cycle here. If Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 comes out, there is still time to fix this issue. That's right, there is still time to at least make mention of Muto Prime and her confrontation with Godzilla shortly after G-Day.
Oh, is that it? Huh, looks like it is. Alright folks, I hope you all enjoyed that. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.